patient has completed their exam, ordered their glasses, their contacts, and they're ready for checkout. This is where you're going to bill the patient for the procedures and or materials that they've incurred for that day. So in order to do that, the first thing we're going to do is click on the Financial tab over here on the left, which will open the financial window right here that you see before you. Everything is kept as a line item. So if the person's here for an exam, let's say ophthalmological services 92014, that's a line item. If the person had a particular test done, let's say automated perimetry, that's a line item. Retinal photography, that's another line item. If they order their glasses, the lenses, the coatings, the frame, they're all individual line items. Now, some offices tend to bundle these, which you can do also, because you can have any types of services, procedures, and you can categorize them any way you like. You can bundle them. You can do them all individually, one at a time. We found that for most offices, delineating each line item makes it a little bit easier for insurance purposes, especially if you're dealing with vision insurers. So that said, each line item is entered when the patient is ready to check out. And as you can see, they're organized by date. It'll first come up with the most recent date on the top. Now, you can change that order just by clicking the date header here, which then puts it in the exact opposite order. So if you have a lot of these line items, and they will accumulate over the years, because this is a continual record of the patient's financial transactions, you may want to change the order of the date simply by clicking there. So, and at the top of the financial window, you can see today's total, any tax that was applied today, any payments that were made today, and the total patient balance, any insurance balance, and then the total outstanding balance for this patient. So let's go through the procedure of adding a line item. You'll click over here on the right where it says Add a Line Item. A box will come up, and right at the top you're going to select your procedure here. So the program comes loaded with many procedures here. We're going to just click Fundus Photography with Interpretation and Report. And as you can see, of course, the current date comes up. You can change the date if you need to. If it's a taxable item, you just click Taxable right here, and it'll calculate the tax in here. So you'll see that the code comes up. There's no modifiers associated with this particular procedure, but if there are, you can certainly change that in the program setup. The fee comes up, total fee. You apply this to a particular doctor. The payer is generally the patient the first time around, okay? So now we're going to look at the payments. So patient's going to put down $10 because this is part of their copay, and they're going to pay that in cash. And we're going to leave this as patient balance for now. We're not going to add any notes here. So you can see that it changed the balance already, that there was a payment of $10. Now, the patient says, well, my copay is $35, so I'm going to put 10 in cash, but I also want to put 25 on my credit card. So you see I clicked the plus sign, which added another line item. This is going to be MasterCard Visa. And now you can see that the total payment for today is $35, and we're going to save that amount. Now that was saved successfully. So now we can add another procedure or materials. So if we're going to bill for contact lenses or something else, you would add another line item here. So we're going to cancel for now. And you can see that it added our line item right here, Fundus Photography with Interpretation and Report. The total fee was $99. There was a deposit of $35. The balance is $64. If we hover on the little information balloon right here, you'll see the individual payments applied to that particular line item. So $10 was cash, $25 was MasterCard Visa. So, and you can see that these have a patient balance, so there's no insurance component here. So let's say that it was something that should be billed to insurance. So we build it to, let's say, VBA. So you'll see that there's a VBA balance here of $7, okay, on this particular line item. So now we get the check in from VBA. So now we're going to click on the little pencil to edit this particular line item. We're going to add a new line. And there's a balance of $7, so we're going to put in 7. And this is from VBA. And now we're going to click Save and Close. And you'll see that the patient's outstanding balance was reduced. You'll see a new payment on 10/22, which shows that the insurance balance is now 0 because we just received $7 from VBA. Okay, so this will keep track of all line items that were billed for, whether they were attributable to a patient balance or attributable to an insurance balance. Keep track of all that, and then when payments come in, if you can apply them to each line item individually through this window here and through the little pencil by clicking there. So there's a few other things you can do now. First thing you'll probably want to do is print a statement for this patient. So you can print a statement one of two ways. One is you can click Print Statement, or two, you can click Quick Print. Quick Print will simply print a statement for today. So if we click that, we're not really going to print it, but we can see it on the screen. So this prints everything that applies to today. So I had 2 items for today, and you can see that they've been printed out here. Okay. The other option is Print Statement, which allows you to print a statement for a date or a range of dates. So if we pick 10/11 through 22, it will create a report with all the dates. And you can see that now we have everything in here. And lastly, you can view the patient's history, which if we can pick the beginning of October, let's say. If the patient has a lot of transactions there, now you can see what's happened with each individual transaction over a long period of time. And sometimes patients will need this information for themselves. Other times it'll be useful in the office. In another instruction video, we will go through how to post payments when you receive a check with any number of patient balances from an insurance company.